Minutes to the meeting of
Should I correct it?
March 12th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting of March 12th.
I'll second it.
When all the corrections were made?
Yes.
All in favor? Aye.
We have to do
Aye.
Have to do it one.
a poll because we have Bill on Zoom.
Bill,
Lisa. Hi, Sally.
Aye, Bill.
aye, Ron.
Aye, Joe.
Okay.
Okay, tonight.
So I sent David the two letters that were sent to Berkshire Gas and 11 Wheatley. And so that's where we're at.
Yeah, so I can give you an update from my end. We'll start with Berkshire Gas, which is the Osterman property, correct?
Yes.
So the letter was addressed to a fellow named Peter Dion.
Yes.
Is he the same gentleman that presented himself to the commission via Zoom?
No.
He's not.
No, Michael advised us that we needed, in order to get a permission to do a site visit, we had to contact the owner of the property, which is Berkshire Gas. Osterman is the umbrella company, but they don't actually own the property. So that was why we had to contact Berkshire Gas in order to get a site visit.
I see. Okay, so that letter went out. It was, I want to say was it February 22nd, I believe. And you haven't had a response. So I tried to track down a phone number for Peter Dion. I was unable to do that. I found a general number on Berkshire Gas's website, tried to get a hold of him that way, was not able to do it. I wasn't even actually able to speak to a human being. It just went to like a general voicemail. So I did find Peter Dion on LinkedIn. And I don't do LinkedIn, so I don't have access to any of the actual information. But if any of you do that, his contact information should be available via LinkedIn.
Okay, I'll look.
Yeah, and if you get that, just give me his number and I'll give him a call.
Okay.
As far as the other one at 11 Wheatley, by the way, both letters looked, they were very well written. They looked good to me. I think they got the message across. They were short, they were sweet, they got to the point. For 11 Wheatley, if you've still not received a response, I guess my recommendation is just try to make contact with them through the building department. And if you can get a phone number for them, I'd be happy to try to call them as well.
Okay.
The contractor that's there evidently has a phone number for the owners.
Okay,
So-
any way we can get it, Ron, I'm happy to give the owners a call. I've
Okay.
always found that's the best way to get traction on these things, is just make actual, verbal communication with people and just have a conversation. It's just the best way to get things started.
All right.
Thank
I
you.
mean, the letters are great because they memorialize what happened. They put them on notice. You got a written record. But now if we can actually get in touch with them in person, that would be great.
Okay.
Do you want to tell him about our DOT contact?
Oh, yeah. So good news, Amir Braza has not retired from Mass DOT.
Oh,
And so they coincidentally were filing an RDA for some work that they're doing along Route 7. And so I said, hey, we heard you were retiring. He said, no, not for a while. And so I said, I wonder if you could help us get in touch with the folks from the Housatonic Railroad about getting some traction on getting rid of the railroad ties. And so he was going to try and get me an actual contact person who is a division of Mass DOT.
Yeah, the railway division.
Right. So we're maybe have some movement on that.
Well, that's good news. It might, if you haven't done it already, it might be helpful just to send him a copy of the package of the stuff that we sent
Right.
to Housatonic and Mass DOT, just so he has some really
Okay.
specific context and he can understand the gravity of everything. That might,
Yeah,
maybe that'll help
I'll
move
do
things
that.
along.
I will do that.
Anything else before we move on? No? Okay. Valenti's stormwater permitting on Route 183.
Yeah, did you go look at that again? Or did we just decide that it was okay based on the presentation that we got?
I did not go look at
Okay.
I didn't go look at it.
So they came in and made the presentation at the last meeting and we decided that it was all right. I think we did.
Thought we did.
So we can just sign off on the jurisdictional on that. Okay. I don't know where it is. Maybe we'll get another one. Okay, or just, I can just send them something saying it's fine. We're good. Or I'll send something to Jennifer. Tell her that we've reviewed it and it looks all right.
Okay.
Okay.
amended order of conditions.
Oh, was he,
So-
no, he was gonna file the stormwater.
For
Wasn't he?
Valenti?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, okay, so we'll just do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
104 Interlaken Road.
Yeah, I got an email from Brent saying that Shannon wasn't in the office for whatever reason, so they weren't gonna be in tonight.
Continued.
Yeah.
Joe,
Okay. Well,
side the table.
I have to recuse myself for this little stuff.
If you do,
Well, I think everybody here
Was there.
has seen the property. And I just want to review a couple things.
All right.
And just before you start, do we have an RDA?
yes,
Can I didn't see a copy.
Any thoughts on some of those down trees running through a chipper?
Well, I'd like to take that stuff out of there because it's affected.
Yeah, but some of that stuff's been down for a bunch of years.
Yeah, and some of them,
It's close to turning back to soil anyways.
right, and some of those, right, I agreed to leave.
Mhm.
You know, there would be some of those left. And some of the standing, dead
All right.
trees, you know.
Okay.
So that can go on the record if you want. That's. Okay. I don't know how much everybody heard what we were talking about out there. But originally, I purchased this land without this piece here, which meant the only access with sufficient frontage would be off of Averick Road. And I didn't want to do that because this is riverfront area roughly where this line is here. Now, the riverfront area is quite compromised. There's a road through it. There's a septic field here, there's parking and driveway here. And there's another driveway right here that goes up to this property. And there was in the riverfront, this old logging, I guess it's a woods road that comes down. And some people saw that and I think others didn't. The request with regard to the riverfront is to get in and take down some of the diseased dead trees. And there's quite a few. They're ash trees. And there's others that are infected. So this would be thinned out a little bit, but it really doesn't change the canopy because we're just taking out dead trees. You know, does that make sense?
There seems to be a lot of thought these days that leaving trees that are not dead is a good thing because they may in fact be resistant. So anything that's, and see how it goes as things go on.
Fully agree with that. They could be just fighting the disease and may come out on top. It's a real long shot.
Right.
Let's do it.
How soon do you want to get in there? You'll be able to tell in a
I'd like to,
month, so probably when this.
I'd like to get, yeah, I won't take anything down that looks like it's alive. You can tell usually around the base, the bark is gone.
Yeah,
But apparently the disease starts from the top
Yeah, it has those blotches.
down.
Yep.
and the woodpeckers start to peel the bark off.
Right.
So let's,
Another tell, Joe, is, I think they call them water sprouts
Mm-hmm.
on the
On the
tree.
sides.
they just pop up
Yeah, just like a handful from around the
Mhm.
barks, they start,
sprouting.
yeah. And it doesn't, the top just dies off and these try, but usually that's a sign that it's
Mhm.
past saving.
Storming buds in the side of the
Yeah.
tree.
And these can be new leaders that would.
Yeah. They aren't gonna make it usually.
I agree. Well, I'm willing to not do anything that's questionable. Is that a fair way to come to some agreement?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm good with that.
And also I would keep, of course, any saplings or anything that's alive so that should they become, disease resistant, we'd have access to them. I wouldn't be killing them. But I would like to put in some sort of, if it'll grow, some sort of meadow grass underneath with, some wildflowers.
Meadow grass,
Ferns
It
or,
would be shady, for shady spots.
shady spot. Native?
Yeah, it would, well,
I mean, it's woods,
yep.
so you don't wanna,
you've got quite a few ferns in there already, don't you?
yeah,
If I
I mean, if you
recall.
do native, something native, that would be okay, but it is woods.
So where there might be some hope that the grass would survive.
How about
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
something that's native that would be a ground cover as opposed to meadow, because it is, I mean, there is an overstory there.
Yep.
So it's not a meadow. I don't know.
No, I knew when I said that, it's gonna put
But
the
if you
wrong
do some
emphasis.
native ground cover that's gonna make it in the woods.
Poison ivy.
Poison ivy. That would, to me, that would make sense, but you don't want to lose it is wooded right now.
It is,
Well,
it
what's the- what do
is
you
wooded,
find-
but it's on the edge of wooded, that this, it's thinned out.
So are you trying to convert it?
No, it might just be thinned a bit, is the way I see it, by the time you're done.
But one of the things about the ash, the young ash, is that they need the extra light when they're young and then not so much when they get older. So if the ash trees were to reseed, that would be ideal.
Yeah, well,
Well, there's sugar maple in there too, right?
anything that's
Cherry?
dries and starts to get extra light should start to fill in on its own. Like if there's oak trees nearby or maple trees nearby,
Yeah, that's what's
those
gonna,
seeds will spread and we could play Johnny Oak Tree and walk around sticking acorns in the ground or
you'll
something.
you'll get saplings from the sugar maple, from the oak, from other things, but I don't know, and I think at meadow, for lack of a better word, the seeds are just going to either not do well or impede the natural regeneration.
If the grass doesn't make it, it'll just die off anyways in the natural
I mean, it's not gonna harm anything, I don't think.
It's not an invasive, it's not gonna spread, I don't believe.
Right, grass or what do you, say it again?
Yeah, I think, there's a place in Chicopee that really mixes up just about anything you want, Valley Green.
Yeah,
And, you could go with, I've used like this grass that only goes about this high, and done whole meadows with it. And,
What is your point? I mean, why do you want to do this?
there's not gonna be
I
any,
just wanted to make sure that there's no signs of erosion anywhere in this area. If you walk through there,
You've got a good leaf litter in there. I think that's
Yeah.
holding your,
I don't know, so it seems to me that, it's soft. It's a well-drained site. This whole area and going around and over to about you, I find is gravel. When I worked on that other property
it's
here,
eroding. I
it's
mean,
gravel.
yeah.
It drains. And in fact, over about where you would be, it was a borrow site when they built the turnpike. They used it for gravel. They took it and, used it for fill.
So what's, because there's the property adjacent to it, that's not yours, right? A little farther down up the road?
Yeah, there's a construction site there. Is that down the road?
Yeah, if you're heading west,
with Stockbridge.
yeah, towards West Stockbridge, was that just for a little farther down, wasn't that a different property?
Yeah, it's a different property. The one I indicated had the driveway to here.
So what's on the ground there? It just looked like,
It's the same thing. It's just cleaned up a bit.
yeah.
Some of the down trees were.
The down trees would provide
Yeah,
some, and if you're worried about erosion, I mean, I'm not clear why you want to do this, but it would seem to me that the down trees and the moss and whatever is growing
gonna be
onto
your
the
best.
trees is going to be the
Yeah.
best
it's gonna be your best.
erosion control. Yeah.
There's a certain amount of aesthetics to this. And the openness, you could get things to grow that would attract pollinators and
I don't,
perennials and things like that underneath.
if you do native perennials that would grow.
Yeah,
in
it would be
shade,
native. Yeah.
Native perennials that would grow in shade, I'm not really opposed, but I think in my thought in general is less is more in the woods. The more you just let it do its own thing, the healthier it's gonna be.
But
When
if
you
Yeah.
start, when you
But if
start
he's gonna-
messing with it, it gets.
you're gonna throw.
That's fine, that's fine.
There and it
I
comes
think-
up, it comes up, doesn't it, doesn't.
But-
If it's, if
it's
it's native species.
If you do native species, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to see any kind of raw dirt, something like that. Okay?
Only God can make a forest.
It's really true, the less you mess
It
with
is hard,
it's gonna be healthier the less you mess with it.
Yeah. Well, there would be,
It's gonna get some disturbance if you go in there, because
Yeah.
there's no way around it. It's steep enough, so. I don't care what you drive in there, it's gonna leave tracks.
Ron, the disturbance is temporary.
Yeah.
Just, it's like putting a water line in or something. And that's allowed.
Yeah.
And,
It's not like you're gonna let it sit through the winter and
yeah,
bring runoff or anything. No, it's gonna have a growing season.
So you'll leave a few dead trees, right?
few dead
You'll
trees.
leave a few dead things on the ground, which will also help. with
Absolutely. Can't wait.
And can't wait, and plant a few natives.
No, and
I mean, I think it'll be healthier in the long run.
how could you not do it and be a member here? The only thing that I thought that I would ask for, and you can say yes or no, is this woods road that you can still see. You just can't walk it. There's 3 or 4 trees across it. I would like to maybe see something in there and just keep that trail open to get down to the road.
Well, if you want to see what grows up naturally, you can just look at our wood road, which is,
Everything.
if you just go right over,
Sun, yeah.
if you go right over that hill in Rattlesnake, when the tornado went through years ago, it was blackberries that grew, and they were not your average blackberry. They were like this, they were these long things that were about like that. They were huge. And it seems like that's raspberries and blackberries that grow
First.
first. Yeah.
They like the
The
light.
birds spread them and then
Yeah, the bird spread, exactly.
nowadays, I don't know how much,
I'm okay if you want to do that. So,
probably be bittersweet and stuff spread too.
Yeah. Although there's no bittersweet in there. It's only down
No.
by the pond.
well, and like you said, you're not letting in a lot of new light, so it's already dead. So,
No, there would probably be a little bit more light. I mean,
Things are
because
gonna continue to die off. You might end up with absolutely no ash trees in there, at which point whole nother cycle is gonna take over.
I think you saw that there were several that were leaning
Yeah.
on their way down.
Well, if they're widow makers, then they need to go, but
I'm gonna trust you, Joe. To do the right thing in there.
yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you're good. David. Want to weigh in here, David?
Well, I haven't, I'm usually reluctant to do this, but I think I get the gist of what you want to do, Joe, which is you've got a portion of your property is in riverfront area. You've got some diseased trees you want to take out, but you're going to maintain it as a forest, correct?
Gonna what?
Maintain
You're going to
is,
maintain it as a forest.
Yeah, the character stays the same.
So there is a little known exemption that actually is mentioned in the act that is outlined in excruciating detail in the regulations that talks about, and this, I guess this all depends on whether or not you can salvage these trees that are, at least some of them that are dead, as cordwood. There's an exemption for cutting and use of cordwood for personal use on your own property, up to 10 cords a year, provided you meet certain criteria, including but not limited to maintaining 50% 50% canopy cover. This is different than all the other tree cutting things that I think that have come before the commission, because you just want to maintain this as forest. It's not like one or two trees that are poised and going to fall on a structure or something like that. But there is actually an exemption that allows for property owners to cut and use cordwood for their personal use up to that threshold. And I think it's a consecutive 12-month period. So that's just something you guys might all consider. As far as planting on a forest floor, I think Lisa's right. I think the forest will do its own thing. If the commission wants and you're willing to, and you want to try to jumpstart a plant community on the forest floor, you're fine to do that. But what my experience is that whatever's in the seed bank is what's already adapted to the soil chemistry and the hydrology and the conditions of the site. That's what's actually going to thrive. So it might make more sense and be a better use of resources to just manage invasive species and not do any proactive plantings once you do the cutting.
I'm on board with that. I actually agreed with her.
Did you hear that? That he agrees with me?
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with him. Just get rid of that barberry that's down in the corner there.
Yeah.
yeah, because that'll spread like crazy.
Okay, yeah, and there's some honeysuckle vines, stuff like that, yeah. So that's the riverfront area. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then this area here is sort of a pine spruce forest. It might have been a Christmas tree farm at one time. The stuff was so close that it all died. This area here, well over 50% of them were dead.
Yeah.
And we took out some of them. It's not any it's not, everything is not taken out that's dead. But my plan was to replant here around the perimeter with evergreens. All these dark trees are the new plantings. And they include up to here, as well as around the house. So I think I could stay under the 10,000 feet for the stormwater permit. So I'll bump up against it. It'll be close, but that's my plan. And there'll be trees in here. This is just the area that would be left a little bit more open. And I'm sure once the dead trees get out of there, it'll be, open enough.
So
So,
that's not jurisdictional for us.
yeah, that's my,
Yeah.
if I measure this and find that I'm over 10,000, then I'll have to come back.
Right.
Is that fair?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, David, I agree that you just let this come up. The ferns are coming up and stuff like that, which are fine. And if there's a little spot where I'll talk to the seed people about native seeds that could take some shade to see if there's any possibility. So,
Not gonna try to create a seed bed. You're just talking about
No.
dispersing it on the,
yeah, I mean, sprinkle a little along, see what happens. But I
you know what? If you get some disturbance,
was gonna use annual rye if there's disturbance.
all right, that's fine too, because that won't come back. It's not.
It'll get stabilized somehow
But
after.
even if you throw some of your understory seed or whatever into those disturbed areas, that'd be your best chance of having anything come up.
I think you're right, Ron, yeah. So
Okay.
are you okay with if I keep this little walkway or? the wood-
You're just gonna
No,
dead stuff off the top of it and
that's it. No change, no grading, no,
no blacktop drive and.
nothing
Or
else.
swimming pool. Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Clover leaf for the turnpike, yeah.
We're good.
All right, we got a vote.
That's it?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
We need a motion.
Need a motion to
Well,
close.
I have to stop.
Second,
Lisa?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Bill
says aye.
Ron, aye.
Sally, aye.
Okay, back to your seat.
All right.
we need a motion to, it's a negative, or is that what we're saying? Negative on the RDA?
Yeah, we're gonna close. Negative, yes.
Yeah, so I make a motion for negative number, I never know the number. Yeah, negative number, Sally will figure it out.
Yeah.
For the
yeah, yeah.
RDA.
It's Oftentimes two. I'll do two because it is
Second.
within the riverfront and it all, but I don't think it's going to disturb anything. So,
I'll second.
all right. So we did that.
Hi, Lisa.
We're good.
Aye, Bill.
Hi, Ron.
Thank you.
All right. So we have Mickey for South Hill Road.
You were gonna bring us some paperwork, a map or.
Yeah, bigger one. You guys have been looking at them. Usually the one.
Yeah, 8 by 11. Right.
Okay, so I believe when you were out there with Lisa, you walked this area where we were gonna put the house here. And then the septic field over here. Here's the meadow is over here.
And we did hear from SK that it is not perennial.
Did they do any
They
soil
did.
testing?
Soil testing, no, no soil testing.
Because we had asked for soil testing. But go ahead, you finish and then.
It was, I didn't have anything else. So, there was a mention of, that it was potentially wetlands, I think. So, I went out there with my, perk test guy.
Yeah.
And we had dug holes out here in the meadow to potentially do the septic field out there. And he told me that there was no hydric soil within the top 12. I called him after you guys walked through. And then I went out there and looked, the holes are still there, and they're 4 feet deep and there's a little bit of water in the bottom. I think they're 6 feet deep and there's like a foot of water in the bottom. And then the potential perk test hole that we dug there, we decided it wasn't a good spot for us because we were looking over here at all this buckthorn that we wanted to get rid of anyway. And that's where this is going to go. So that made a lot more sense because it's a little bit higher, better soil, better drainage up here for the perk test. So we wouldn't have to bring in so much fill.
Is that up near, closer to the turnpike am I remembering?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
The turnpike's over here.
All right.
Yeah. So to answer your question, he said he didn't think there was any hydric soil and that there was no water in those holes when I went and checked after you guys came.
Thank you.
Mhm.
But
So it
there's
was-
water in them now.
So this was a jurisdictional originally, so
Did you?
we just
Yeah, I was there.
need to sign off on the jurisdictional, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
What were the perk test results for that? For the,
Ooh. I could send you the report. I don't remember off the top of my head. He said it was really good. And the Lee guy, the guy came out and,
try down.
yeah.
what was the depth of groundwater?
It's all in the
So
report.
it'll be a raised bed.
Yeah, it'll be back, yeah, in the woods. So there'll be forest between the house here. And then back here is where it'll be, and I think we were gonna have to bring in 18 inches of soil or sand or whatever it is. But so what was nice is it's higher over here. So it would really just, and it right now it kind of dips down. It would kind of just be keeping that
Yeah.
same,
We were up in there.
yeah.
They probably got the, they had nice soil from this property that I just showed here
Really?
when they built the,
Yeah.
no, I'm just,
Where's this one?
I'm just kidding.
No.
Half the problem with any drainage is that area is the
Turnpike.
turnpike.
Yes,
The,
salt and stuff like that.
well, not so much the salt, but where their catch basins and stuff are just dumped down the hill.
Mm.
Yep.
And it's up so much higher that they've created we wouldn't call it a stream, but it's a barrier.
Yeah.
So it
At
doesn't
least they
really,
got rid of the dead animal dump.
well,
was a dead end.
that was farther down the road.
Hope that wasn't my property before.
No, it was closer to 183.
Was.
It's a little shocking.
Okay,
All right, so we're good?
we're good.
Do you guys want to keep this or do I take this away?
Sure.
Yes. We'll put it-
So it's,
You can get another one after for nominal.
get plenty.
Me to fold it.
All right.
Oh.
If it's just a jurisdictional, we just have to sign off on it
All right.
once again. Maybe we need to get the building inspector and just get it.
Yeah, I gave her. It might be in the box.
So.
All right, good.
Thank you.
Happy digging.
So, David looked at. You have a little person.
That's,
That's
that,
my fifth of six.
Oh, okay. Hello.
She's the
Hi.
can't see.
We can see her. She can probably see us.
very cute.
So David went and looked at the 13 rattlesnake.
Yeah, I looked at it originally I did a compliance inspection on February 9th. I marked up the plan of record with some notes about the sedimentation and erosion controls, as well as a particular part of the site, the northwestern portion of the site over near where the leach field was approved to be constructed. And noticed that the silt fence, which is also the limits of work for this project, as it is in most projects, is way, way closer to the wetland than it's supposed to be. And Lisa actually met me out at the site yesterday. We used a survey tape to figure out how close to the BVW the clearing has occurred, that clearing has occurred. And I think there was a special condition in the order of conditions that explicitly said no tree clearing within 60 feet of BVW. And based on our measurements, there's been clearing about 39 feet away from the BVW. So more of the forested buffer zone was cleared than was supposed to have been cleared. I had questions about the S&E controls. It's a strange array. It's like 2 silt fences with a straw wattle sandwiched in between. It seems to be working okay. We got dumped on with tons of rain on Saturday, and there was no evidence of siltation into the wetlands, so that's a good sign. I mean, overall, the site looks okay. They've actually, to their credit, they've spread a bunch of the wood chips that they generated from the tree clearing on some of the exposed soils to try to manage stormwater, that was not something they were required to do, but that's great that they did that on their own. I think the only concern is where they've put the silt fence closer to the BVW than they were supposed to, which just kind of enables contractors to use that forest floor as a storage area for whatever they want to do during the construction phase. So that was my primary concern. And they cleared more of the buffer zone than they were supposed to.
So,
We can have them replant.
replant and move the silt fence to,
Well, I don't know if we want to move it, but delineate it so they don't go into it again.
Put in
Yeah,
another,
Ron, I just
Put it-
make the suggestion that like if the silt fence is supposed to be the limits of work and they've got it way closer to the wetland than they're supposed to, my recommendation would be that they actually move it where it's supposed to be, because
would it
it-
be practical to put in another one where it's supposed to be? And leave
Yeah,
the
they-
one that's there?
yeah, that might be easier. It
Yeah,
might be easier. You could leave the other one in place during the construction phase and just put a new one in where it's supposed to go. But the issue is, Ron, if they leave it where it is, they're going to be, because the contractors, their job is to build the structure and build out the site. They're not going to be thinking about they're certainly not going to be thinking about buffer zone protection. They're not going to think that way. And they're going to be prone to using that area to store pipes and pea gravel and geotextile or whatever they need to help build that part of the site. And they're going to use every square inch up to the silt fence if they need it in the cleared area. So
I'm fine
my
with
recommendation is that they
additional, so.
put one where it's supposed to be.
yeah, I think that moving the one that's already there is probably going to disturb stuff, whereas if they put it where it's supposed to be, that'll be good.
I don't think there's a big risk, Sally, at this site
Oh, okay.
if they
All
pulled
right.
it up and relocated it. But I would just give the option to them that they shouldn't be working beyond where the limits of work are shown on the plan, the approved plans of record.
Okay,
and I'd like to see some plantings. They did cut right up to the
Mhm.
okay. Well, they're going to be filing a stormwater permit and we can talk to them about all that stuff at that time. Because now that the property's for sale, they're not going to be building anything right away, so.
Yeah, that sounds like a good timing.
Get all our requests in.
Okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for your help yesterday.
Yeah,
Get the whole thing of the tape.
got to hold the tape.
I could have come up. I just didn't think that we would need me. All right, so we
Yeah.
talked about the Eversource.
Mhm.
We still got
Really
mass,
operating. We have to wait and see what we
mass
hear back from
DOT
them.
though, sidewalks.
Upcoming at the next meeting.
I should read the whole thing.
Put your glasses on.
I don't have them. Got them. Okay,
Agriculture and forestry meets Monday
this one,
at 6:30. Anybody wants to come?
Did you get a chance to look at that thing I sent you on the ash?
That's this.
Oh,
That's what it is.
oh, this is it? Oh, it was so
Very
interesting.
good.
Anyway. Okay.
I already talked about the railroad.
Yeah,
They don't have dogs doing the emerald ash borer.
You can't
They have
identify.
dogs doing the spotted lanternfly.
Maybe they don't have a scent.
They do.
Hmm.
There are two members of our kennel club who are doing the spotted lanternfly
That's great.
over in the mid part of the state.
Yeah, that's great. Well, bring your dogs to Joe's and
Yeah,
get them on the Emerald dashboard.
yeah.
theoretically, I could teach her to do that.
You could.
Huh?
Solo would never do it. You'd
Well, they do.
carry the stick around for an hour.
They do. I don't know if she's that keen, but my friend has tollers doing the emerald ash borer,
Mhm.
or no, the spotted lanternfly.
And we talked about 11 Wheatley Drive,
Yep,
And rattlesnake.
rattlesnake.
yep,
Good.
we're done.
And
Are you all signing off on Macneck Shores?
Yes, we approved it at the last meeting. We just have to sign it and it'll go on the mail on Thursday. I
Yeah.
let Sally know, so she's expecting it.
Perfect.
So we have that and we have the tree removal form for Jack Brown. We need to sign. You just need to sign. Maybe Lisa, I don't know.
the 183 stormwater.
We haven't gotten that yet.
Thank you.
Good luck. I'm probably gonna attend the Beckett Concom climate change. You showed your lab.
If you can find out if they are gonna record that Zoom meeting, I'd like to see it.
Oh,
Either-
somebody will call.
Somebody will call. I'll go if I can too.
I should know what that is.
David, I think you're done if you want to go.
You all set?
You're welcome to stay.
Unless you
but I
have
think-
something you want to talk to us about, we're done with what we needed you to
I
help
think
us
I'm
with.
okay. I think I'm okay. I did, just so the commission knows, I did an inspection yesterday at, well, I did two inspections, other inspections to Stockbridge for the planning board. One
Okay.
including an item that was on your agenda for tonight that got postponed, 104 Interlaken.
Yeah,
And the site is in construction right now for the work that was approved last year, including the garage. Everything looked fine to me. I think the new thing is they want to put a screened-in porch on the south side of the property.
Right.
Yes.
So I can weigh in on that if the commission wants, when that comes up, if I'm.
yeah, that's, if they wanted to postpone till the next meeting.
Right. I also am looking at a special permit application for 24 Lake Drive. That's a property that you guys issued an order of conditions for in 2021, I believe, for a house and septic. And then the planning board issued a special permit for a very long boardwalk that goes from the house, which is kind of up on a knoll along the road, down through a pretty wide swath of BVW out to the the channel that's on the south side of Stockbridge Bowl. I
And
guess
that was approved. Yeah.
Yes.
We had
So-
that on the plans that we approved.
Yeah, they came back to us about the boardwalk.
Yeah, so I think
Done.
all those things expired, and that's why they're back in front of the planning board. I don't know if they're back in front of you guys as well, because maybe their order hasn't expired yet.
If it was 2021, it's coming close.
Right, so just to give you a heads up so that
Okay.
we've got some synergy between the two boards.
Thank you.
All right, I'll look up the date.
It's 24 Lake.
24 Lake.
24 Lake Drive, yep. It's currently a
It's right on it.
vacant parcel.
So they haven't done anything yet.
Nope.
Is that the one that we reviewed like 4 times and made
Yes.
them, kept making them make it smaller? I think that was one that they had put in their original request was for a fairly, is it white? Is it white
White
engineering?
engineering, yeah, they
Okay.
did the work.
So it was a fairly large house and it was on a fairly steep slope. And we said, And so they made it smaller and smaller and they really worked hard to make it be acceptable to us. And so it was a good project, we
Yeah, it
thought,
looked like a pretty good
in the
design to
end.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looked like a pretty good design, and I have no problem with boardwalks. I mean, boardwalks get people out into wetlands to appreciate them, which hopefully means more wetlands protection, so. And there are
Right.
limited projects for them and everything, so. But that was it.
I'll look up the expiration. White is usually really good about coming back to us for a expired permit.
Yeah, they're usually on top of things.
So it would surprise me if it had.
I have, if you hang on one second, I have the order. Let me, I think I saved it. I could tell you exactly when it expires. I've got it. Bear with me. Oh, yeah, it looks like it already, if I'm reading this correctly, it was issued on January 15th, 2021. So assuming it was a 3-year order, it would have expired already.
Okay,
So, I mean, I can just bring that up when we talk about it at the planning board meeting. I think we're scheduled to talk about that project on the 16th of February.
okay.
Yeah.
February,
16th of February, it's already passed.
that's expired.
Right. Right. Unless you've issued an extension and you just,
I don't think so, but I mean, they usually come in
With enough notice.
with enough notice, but I'll double check.
okay, well, if I don't hear anything from anybody, I will just bring it up during the planning board
Great.
meeting anyway, just
Okay.
to make sure that everyone's aware.
Great.
Shannon asked for something
It does,
5 or 6 months ago.
it does sound familiar to me too, so I think maybe they did come and ask for an extension. 'Cause I
Okay,
don't
well,
know
I'll double
why
check.
Why I know about the project otherwise.
I'll double check.
Okay,
All
have a good
right.
night.
Anything
Thank
else?
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Good
Have a
night.
good
You
evening.
bet. Good night.
Make a motion.
Make a
Close.
motion?
We signed everything.
Well, I didn't see anything to sign.
Well, we signed this. There
Yeah,
should be,
I signed
there
that.
should be
We didn't sign for the,
The 2 you gotta sign.
yeah, for the,
there should be an
Mackinac Shores.
RDA that went through.
No,
No.
not for Mackinac Shores. That's.
That would be this.
Uh-huh.
Okey dokey.
Found it.
No site visits. Woo-hoo.
Yay.
Don't say things like that.
Sorry.
So Tom's on the SPSC now, huh? Is he
So
glutton?
I understand,
Glutton for punishment, is he?
possibly. We'll find out.
Okay.
It's next week, right?
April 3rd. Beckett Conservation Commission and Beckett Lakes and Ponds Association having a free program on an overview of climate change affecting lakes and ponds. It's April 3rd, 2:30 to 4:30 PM at the Beckett Town Hall, which I'm not sure I know where the Beckett Town Hall is. It's in Beckett. Again,
I can tell you where it is.
you gotta find it. It's easy to
If
find.
you go to the Four Corners, you know, where Bonnie Riggs,
Yeah.
at the bottom of the hill, take a left, you go up into Beckett. And it's about a mile or two up there on the left. It's a new building.
Really?
Yeah, it has a flag or something out front.
So are we adjourning?
I think it's.
Yes.
The police department's in there too, Ron.
At 8 o'clock?
5:00.
7:55.